everyone, and welcome to Above the Yellow Line. This is the NASCAR podcast where we talk about all things NASCAR, the Cup Series drivers, news, theories, recaps, and more. My name is Taylor, and we're going to dive right into the very first topic of the podcast. Above the Yellow Line's very first topic is going to be about this season's schedule. And with the schedule comes a lot of new things. We have some new tracks, we have some new formats, we also have shifts in the schedule from a race that was at the beginning of the year that's now moved to the end of the season. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, but I want to start by mentioning some of 2021's numbers for NASCAR. These numbers were presented by Rutledge Wood and Dale Earnhardt Jr. During the NASCAR 2021 preview on NBC a few nights ago. And I love talking about numbers and facts and statistics, and I thought these were really, really cool. We know that it is a 9-month racing season. There are some breaks in between, some off weekends. But of those 9 months, there are 36-point races. There are 23 tracks. And of those 23 tracks, we have 4 new ones, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the podcast. Speaking of tracks, this season alone, there are 7 road courses on the schedule, and I am very excited. I feel like with this amount of road courses, it's going to really challenge the drivers to expand what they're capable of. It's going to give them a new challenge. And we might even see a few new winners on the road courses. Obviously, last year, Chase Elliott dominated the road courses on the 2020 schedule. So I'll be really curious to see if this schedule still favors Chase Elliott or if we're going to see someone else take the crown as the road course champion. To finish off the facts by numbers, we're just going to go down the line. 8,100 laps will be driven this season alone. Those laps equate to roughly 12,000 miles of racing. And those large numbers are super hard to fathom. And it's crazy when we think about the beginning of the season. Sometimes the beginning of the season can drag a little bit. And then before you know it, we are at November. We're in Phoenix and it's championship week. So it is really cool. I loved watching this special just to see a preview of the season. It really helped me get a handle on everything that's new. And it was really cool to hear Dale and Rhett go over the numbers and the facts of this season. So with all those facts said, we're going to go into the schedule this season. We're going to talk a little bit about the tracks themselves. We're going to talk about what's new, what's old, coming back new, and just what's just stayed the same. Starting off with the first race this season, it is not a points race, but we have the Busch Clash at Daytona. We're racing on the Daytona road course for that on February 9th. The next 2 races on the schedule following the Busch Clash are the Blue-Green Vacation Duels falling on February 11th at Daytona International Speedway. This is not on the road course, it is actually on the oval track. And these 2 races, along with the Clash, do determine a big portion of the starting lineup for the 2021 Daytona 500. Speaking of the Daytona 500, February 14th is the 63rd running of the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. I said it's on Valentine's Day, so if you don't have a date, don't worry, you have NASCAR, so you should be fine. Then after the Daytona 500, we stay at Daytona. We just move back to the road course like we did for the Clash for the weekend in the day of February 21st. After that, we go to Homestead Miami Speedway on February 28th for the Dixie Vodka 400. And right after that, we go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Diamond in the Desert, or Sin City, on March 7th for the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube. Right after that, on the 14th of March, we go to Phoenix Raceway, which is where the championship race will be held. This is the NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix. On the 21st of March, we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. And then after that is the race I am dreading the most, I am the most excited for. It is the Bristol Motor Speedway Food City Dirt Race. It's going to be crazy, it's going to be messing, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be chaos. This is the first NASCAR race on dirt in over 50 years, since 1970. So I don't know how the cars are going to do on dirt. I'm hoping the weather stays nice. I'm hoping it doesn't rain. And just, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't think anyone knows how it's going to work until we actually see the cars on the dirt, and we're turning laps. Now, the race is going to favor our dirt racers like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, off the top of my head. So I'll be curious to see if they can do well, and they're in new cars this year. Christopher Bell is in the number 20, taking over for Eric Jones. And we have Kyle Larson coming back after indefinite suspension in the Hendrick Motorsports number 5. And on his offseason with NASCAR, holy crap, he basically tore up the racing world. He won like so many races, and he impressed a ton of people, including myself. So I'm really hoping that when he gets back into the cars this year, that he's going to do a really great job. And I think this race in particular is going to be one where he can shine on, and I really hope he does. Right after they race at the last greatest Coliseum, we move to the Paperclip, which is Martinsville Speedway. On April 10th, they'll be racing the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500. Right after that, we have Richmond Raceway on April 18th, the Toyota Owners 400. And right after that, we go to Dega, my favorite track. I love Dega so much. I want to go there someday in person. We race there for the Geico 500 on April 25th. Right after that, we go to Kansas Speedway we're already in May 2nd for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Kansas. Here's where we have a little bit more of a shake-up. We go to Darlington on May 9th. Now, this is Throwback Weekend. They moved Throwback Weekend up to spring this year, which I think will be really nice. And this also is historic because this is the first year, I think, in a decade that we've seen 2 races at Darlington in one season. The Lady in Black track will be again on May 9th. The NASCAR Cup Series race at Darlington, Mother's Day weekend. I'm also noticing when I look at the calendar for the races this year that a lot of them fall on holidays, which I think is super awesome. I think there's also one on Father's Day, and there's one on Halloween, and on 4th of July. So I was really excited to see the calendar and how everything shook up this year. So after we visit the Lady in Black, the track that is too tough to tame, we go to Dover International Speedway on May 16th for the Dryden 400. Right after that, we go to a new track to the NASCAR Cup Series, the Circuits of America. This is one of 7 road courses this year on May 23rd. I'm really excited to see this track. The Xfinity drivers, I watched for the first time them race on this track last season. And I really like the layout, so I'm really interested to see, obviously, how Chase Elliott does, if he can still hold on to his title as the road course king, if Martin Truex can dethrone him, because I think Martin Truex has the best chance out of all the drivers of taking that title from Chase Elliott. After that, we go to the Coca-Cola 600 that honors the men and women who serve and have served our country on May 30th at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Right after that, we go to Sonoma Raceway on June 6th, the Toyotas and the Save Mart 350. After that, we go to Texas Motor Speedway on the 13th of June for the NASCAR All-Star Open. Now, with the All-Star Open and the All-Star race, I don't know if you remember last season, but we were stuck at Texas Motor Speedway for 3 days because of rain. It was the worst waiting game, and I can't even imagine how the drivers felt about it, but they basically gave the fans that stayed for all 3 days and basically in the stands waiting for the race to go fast passes for the All-Star race to be in the pit area to see the drivers, see what goes on. And let me tell you, the fast pass experience, or not the fast pass, the hot pass experience is the coolest thing I've ever been able to be a part of. I got hot passes from the Xfinity Racing Series company, and I was super excited to go. So those fans are going to have a blast. Waiting in the rain for 3 days, totally worth it for them. So the races, there's 2 races on the 13th of June at Texas Motor Speedway for the All-Star Open and then the All-Star Race. This race is also the last one that will be seen on the Fox Racing Network until we go to NBC on June 20th for the first Nashville race in a while. Since 2011, I think, is the last time the NASCAR cars raced at Nashville Speedway. This is for the Ally 400, and I am super excited for the Music City race. This is huge for the NASCAR sport. It is a hub for country music, kind of the whole NASCAR aesthetic feel. This is where the awards are held for the end of the year awards for NASCAR. I'm super stoked. I freaking love Nashville. I haven't gone in forever, but Nashville and NASCAR go together like peanut butter and jelly. Super excited. It's a race on Father's Day, which is even better, having a holiday with it, like I said earlier. There's a lot of races this year that fall on holidays, so I am very excited. Right after the race at Nashville, we go to Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, on the 26th of June. This is the Pocono Cup Series race number 1. We have a race on the 27th the next day at Pocono as well for a doubleheader. They did the doubleheader last year as well. So I'm really excited to see this come back. I think fans really enjoyed it. It was really nice to see 2 races at the track. So at this point, we are a little over halfway through the season, and we hit July 4th at Road America. Now, this is also another holiday race. Super excited about it. NASCAR does such a good job about honoring the men and women who are serving and who have served. Something I love about the sport. Their advocacy towards certain causes is super great, and I'm really excited that we have a 4th of July race at Road America in particular. Now, this is a new track for NASCAR, and it is a road course, one of the 7. As we mentioned earlier, there are 7 road course races. So this will be really, really exciting. This is the first race here since 1956, and it's only been raced by the Cup Series once, so we're bringing it back. I'm super excited. After that, we have Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, in years previous, this has been the weekend for Kentucky Motor Speedway, which is the speedway I went to for my 3 in-person races that I've been to. I loved it there. It was super fun. The track can be kind of boring, so as much as I'm sad to see it go, the races at the track kind of dulled down a little bit. The atmosphere is great. The track is super fun to be at. It's just the races weren't as exciting as I had hoped. So we're switching it up with Atlanta Motor Speedway on the 11th of July. The Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart is that week. Then we move to New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the 18th of July, the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. Right after that, NASCAR takes a break, and then we go straight into August. August 8th, we have the race at Watkins Glen International. This is another road course for the Go Bowling at the Glen. And speaking of a road course, right after that, on the 15th of August, we go to Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. This is for the Big Machine Vodka 400 at the Brickyard, powered by Florida Georgia Line. Love Florida Georgia Line too. This one I am super excited for, just to see a new configuration for the Cup Series and see how they navigate it. Right after that, on the 22nd of August, we have Michigan International Speedway for Firekeepers Casino 400 in the Irish Hills. Right after that, we are back at Daytona International Speedway on the 28th for the Coke Zero 400. So all those tracks, all the dates, those schedules there are for the regular season of the Cup Series. And as we know, after the regular season, we go straight into the playoffs. The playoffs is 10 weeks of racing. The format is knockout style. We have 3 tracks. Then the bottom 4 drivers are taken off the list, and then we go to the next round and the next round until we have the championship 4. So let's break this down for you with the round of 16 to start. We have Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol as the first 3 tracks in the playoff. On September 5th, we have Darlington Raceway for the Cookout Southern 500. I do really like this change as Darlington starting the whole playoff series. I also love that it's a Labor Day weekend to start a little celebration for the start of the playoffs, as well as we celebrate the men and women who have served. Right after that, we go to the 11th of September for Richmond Raceway, the Federated Auto Parts 400. And right after that, we're back at Bristol for a normal non-dirt race on the 18th of September for the Bass Pro Shops night race. Super excited for Bristol at night. It's always really cool with the strobe lights to see, and it's a super small track, gets the adrenaline going, and that is the cutoff race. That is the first round of the playoffs until we get into the round of 12. So small track, lots of adrenaline, lots of anger, lots of tenseness. in that small track to get into the next round, it is going to be a fantastic race. Right after that, we have the round of 12 with Las Vegas Motor Speedway on the 26th of September, the Southern Point 400. Then we go back to Talladega Speedway for the, we're in October 3rd, the Yellowwood 500. And then we're back at a road course for the cutoff race at Charlotte Motor Speedway Road Course on October 10th, the Bank of America Roval 400. I, again, love that track, so I'm super excited to see that in a cutoff race. Then we go to the round of 8 with Texas Motor Speedway on the 17th of October, the Auto Trader and Echo Park Automotive 500. Then we go to Kansas Speedway on October 24th, the Hollywood Casino 400. Then we go to Martinsville on the 31st of October for the Xfinity 500, a Halloween race. I freaking love NASCAR and Halloween together. Seeing the drivers dress up is super fun. And then we have that as the cutoff race. And finally, we are back at Phoenix for the Championship 4 on the 7th of November. And just like that, the season's over. I know this podcast was a little long today. We try to keep it under 15 minutes, but going over how the season goes, the timeline, the schedule, and the drivers is really important to set a foundation for the season. So I do apologize it was a little bit longer today, but I appreciate you listening to the lineup for this year, the fun facts, what's going on. Super excited about the holiday races, the new tracks, and seeing how drivers are going to navigate the new road courses and everything that comes with this season. Again, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, Above the Yellow Line. My name is Taylor, and we talk about all things NASCAR Cup Series drivers, news, theories, recaps, and more. I hope you tune in next time we have a podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.